Zeiss secrets. While the whole smartphone and camera market decides to stagnate and play dead, some companies can break through in some ways. Look what I have today. This is brand new Vivo X100 Ultra, flagship phone of BBK Corporation, which has insane camera capabilities. This is good unboxing experience. We have cable and 80-watt fast charger with gallium nitrogen technology in the box. Nice soft protection case, and phone has pre-applied factory protection film on the screen. This is what I call premium package. This is what I call environmentally friendly. Where are you? Samsung, Apple, Google, Sony, who does not even put a damn cable in the box. I love this design. It has very sleek edges that has flat cutouts on sides, waterfall screen, camera module is large and has Zeiss logo on it. That is not just for marketing, as you will know soon. This phone is solid contender to be the best camera phone of the year, and maybe even all times, and powerful enough to be compared not against smartphones of the past outdated era like iPhones 15 or Samsung devices, but against DSLR and mirrorless real cameras. Can't wait to compare it against Oppo Find X7 Ultra that I declared a portrait king of all times. They use completely different approaches that are not inferior to each other. Oppo uses AI to simulate soft yet textured and full of details image of DSLR cameras while adding shadow and light information. Vivo uses full unshackled power of AI to add and draw details that it predicts, as well as adding professional makeup and retouching of face that is not a gimme, but at last a powerful tool. Subscribe so you do not miss a battle of the titans, where I compare them in all their glory aspects. Specs and price. Vivo X100 Ultra has Snapdragon 8 Gen 3, insane triple camera modules, more on them later, 16 gigs of fast RAM, 1000 gigabytes of fast SSD space, Wi-Fi 7 and latest Bluetooth. All this for $1,200. Ouch. But spoilers alert, I do not feel like I was scammed out of money, like I felt after buying Samsung and losing $400 after reselling it. Size and weight. Phone is large and it's heavy, but because of sleekness and round edges, it sits very comfortably in the hand. Balance is great. I can place it on finger and easily operate it with one hand. Also, it has the best one-handed mode in the game, now even beats Samsung's mode. You just need to give it a swipe, and depending on the side of the swipe, small window will appear left or right automatically. Genius. Screen. Screen is bright, even outside. The brightest that I have seen. Pretty colorful. You need to know that OLED screens have perceived pulsations. This is how all OLEDs work. To say in simple words, the higher it refreshes electricity in the layer of pixels, the lower perceivable for the eye's pulsations will be. You can't see them with naked eye, but your brain and eyes still are affected by it. Some people feel eye strains, some do not, but this one I definitely feel some on very low brightness levels, below 10%. Guess I need to sleep at night, rather than surfing YouTube. For example, for me, Samsung was uncomfortable even on full brightness, and 40% and below I even got headaches. Vivo has some eye protection features, as well as DC dimming in the developer options. Waterfall screen can give you hard time to find good protection. I bought hydrogelic film. It has plastic guides that will help you align film with phone. With them, I feel like even noob can do this. I ordered Qi magnetic case for wireless magnetic charging and accessories, but accidentally ordered the wrong one. God bless China for very fast delivery times. Charging speeds are interesting. It has 80 watt fast charging by wire and 30 watt by wireless. Here, where I do not get this. Yes, it is still 2 times faster than iPhone and Samsung, but Vivo's more budget phones like X100 Pro and others get 100 watt by wire and 50 watt wireless. So flagship, more expensive phone is slower. Okay. With increased capacity of 5500 mAh, it will charge from 0 to 100 for 50-60 minutes. Not the fastest guy on the Wild West, but still fast enough. Charging speeds below 80 watts are just unacceptable for 2024. Welcome to the future, Samsung, Apple, Sony. Heat and temperatures are reasonable. In normal conditions, phone never got warm in the hand, only when fast charging or filming 4K 120 fps on the direct sunlight. You can feel it getting somewhere around 40–43 Celsius. Speakers are loud and clear, not the best on the market, but in line with the rest of the flagship market. We'll characterize them as good balance, with focus on mid-tones. Take a listen. Origin OS is very nice. Lots of features, customizations, side panels, nice sounds, haptic vibration is almost everywhere on system, but this is Chinese ROM device and has some quirks. It has Google systems out of the box, but Chinese phones are very delicate with notifications. Make sure that you check permissions for needed app. I didn't yet face any problems with notifications. Some companies like Mobvoi won't allow you to connect smartwatches on Wear OS in radios, but this is mostly Google's fault, because of their contracts with Samsung and monopolistic policies. But luckily I was able to connect Galaxy Watch 4 Classic, just needed to download app from Vivo's App Store. All notifications arrive, as well as calls. Nice. And the most important part that brought us all here today – cameras. Cameras are insane. It has triple camera setup with Zeiss technologies for glass and coatings, 50 megapixel main 1-inch sensor with super great optical stabilization, 50 megapixel ultra-wide lens with very low perspective distortion levels, and star of the show, 200 megapixels newest telephoto HP9 module with rock-solid optical stabilization that has so impressive macro mode on photo and video that I was speechless. Real mirrorless cameras manufacturers must be worried. Their market below $2,000 might be obsolete at this point. Can't wait to test it with external lenses and filters. Sirui needs to do version 2 of their set of lenses, because cameras on phones got larger and larger, and it can't cover the whole sensor. Photo tests. Before we even start, want to point out immediately the strong points of this camera phone. Good algorithms for AI detail drawings, insane portraits with professional retouching and makeup, insane macro mode that you won't believe is inside a smartphone, and very strong night mode with lots of details and very pleasant colors and beautiful night sky. Camera app alone deserves its own separate video. It has lots of features, options and modes with lots of customization, in-depth portrait mode with bokeh blur from iconic Zeiss lenses which can be turned on and off, and with professional skin retouching and makeup, which is no longer a gimmick but really powerful and professional tool that do not just blur the face, but adds real retouching, fully preserves skin texture, removes blemishes and problems if possible and necessary, adds lighting, shadows and depth, and so on and on. Portrait mode has pre-customized filters that are not just gimmick Instagram color filters, but they completely change the mood of the scene and the behavior of AI of the camera, how it renders faces and texture of skin. It even has AI mode that transforms any image into weather and times of the year. For example, adds snow if it was winter, or autumn with fallen leaves. or Blossom Summer. We have mode that is called Humanistic Street Photography. It can be accessed by dragging shutter button up. It gives you conservative, well-known atmosphere of conventional cameras and street photography vibes. I think we need separate video on this topic and camera features alone. Let's compare some photos, shall we? Alright, let's start, and in the beginning I want to show you the difference between normal mode and computational AI portrait mode. It makes complete retouching of face and makeup, while this one it just makes natural photo. As you can see, this day we were very tired after a couple of days in train, and some people will say that this is unnatural, but luckily you can pick and choose. You can use normal mode for more realistic photography, or you can turn on this portrait mode with built-in AI features that will enhance it with just one click of a button. Lots of people spend hours and hours trying to achieve this result by retouching it by hand, and here you can do this completely automatically with just one press of a button. And this is not just a gimmick. Look, this is not just blurring of the skin. We still have texture, we still have a lot of details. Nothing is lost, everything is just enhanced. So who cares if it is artificial? Who cares if it is drawn by AI? People want the result, and if the result is good, everything else does not matter. This is completely optional. You can pick and choose, turn this on if you like, turn this off if you do not like. Let's throw some mirrorless camera, Sony ZV-E10 with expensive Sigma 2.8 lens in the mix. Here on the left we have normal photo from Vivo, in the middle is portrait mode with full retouching, and on the right we have Sony ZV-E10 with expensive Sigma lens. I don't know about you, definitely there is a difference between the quality of conventional camera, but this smartphone is so close that I feel like in the near future smartphones can definitely replace conventional cameras if manufacturers keep this bullshit. I really like how it deals with colors. I thought that Oppo was portrait king, but now Vivo X100 Ultra can try to steal its crown. I really enjoy using this camera. If you told me a couple of years ago that this was shot on the smartphone and this smartphone is from this planet, I wouldn't believe you. By the way, I want to show you macro capabilities. As you can see, she has this collar. You can actually make a macro shot of this collar from this distance without moving phone closer. Here, this was shot exactly from this distance. This is insane. I really can't believe right now that this was made just on the smartphone, in the shadow, handheld. To make something similar on the real DSLR camera, you need a specialty macro lens, which is heavy, expensive, and sometimes dark. And no way you can make it handheld in these lighting conditions. I'm very impressed. It was 100x zoom, exactly from this distance, from this point of view. This is insane. This is a kitchen inside the place where we stayed. This is its original true state. Here, some snow. It added lots of objects that were not present in reality. It has changed everything. Some night mode shot of this room, and artificial intelligence decided to put snow everywhere. By the way, look how accurate it did this. Snowy rugs. Just look at the level of details. Oh my god, this is smartphone photo. Look at this. This is beautiful. This is Sony and this is Vivo. Power of computational photography and portraits. Just look at this. Can you believe that this was shot on smartphone? This is Sony ZV-E10 APS-C camera. This is computational portrait mode from Vivo. This is beyond impressive. I'm speechless. If you like retouching, if you like computational photography, maybe Vivo will take crown from Oppo in terms of being a portrait king. If you want to know about this, watch my video about Hasselblad Magic, portrait king of smartphones. This portrait is from telephoto lens, outside. We can see lots of details. This is not portrait mode, just natural bokeh. Unfortunately, these two photos was made on the same day with the same lighting conditions in the morning, and photo on the Vivo was made on the harsh daylight in the afternoon. So we have this direct sunlight in the face, but we still can see lots of details. This is Vivo on the right, in the middle is Sony, and here on the left is Samsung. Hands down here mirrorless camera wins, but we need to take in consideration that this is expensive Sigma lens, 56mm, the sharpest lens on the Sony APS-C lineup, but it is very expensive. It costs more than half of the price of the Vivo phone. Here we can see bunch of photos they were made inside the car, we can see HDR, and also we can see some effects. In portrait mode you can choose different effects and they will directly affect texture of the face, rendition of light, rendition of colors. Here we can see it intensifies the highlights on the face, making very nice retouching. I love this portrait mode, this is my favorite right now. This will be macro shot, we will zoom here. This is, of course, not the limit. We can go closer and closer. In the end, we can even see individual fibers of this clothes. Here, once again, macro shot. We will zoom over here. We will go closer and closer and closer and closer. And we won't stop. We will go closer and more and more. Look at this. We went from here all the way to there without moving a phone closer. We just used zoom capabilities. Some AI fun. Here it completely removed the dog. I think we found Yeti. I love to play with this seasons AI stuff. This is very fun. It completely replaced Sony camera with something else. Some portrait, and you can completely transform it into any season you like. Basic landscape, let's enhance it with power of AI. Yeah, here. This is so cool. Some zoom capabilities. This is 10x zoom. On the right we can see Sony mirrorless camera. This is the only lens that I had with me. To zoom this far on Sony ZV-E10 you need a specialty lens that is very expensive. Of course, this is not apples to apples, but I want to show you the convenience of having smartphone in your pocket. To use this mirrorless camera you need to pay exactly the same amount of money as this phone cost. You need specialty lens with you. It will be pain in the butt to take it with you. And also you have to use computer to try and massage these raw files. Yeah, just a boring shot. Let's quickly check level of details and move on. You know, I will give this to Vivo. Some head portraits. This one surprises me. On the right is Sony with Sigma 18 to 50 2.8 lens. It's not the sharpest lens in the world, but here I feel like smartphone wins. Good job, Vivo. Some landscape shots. This is ultra-wide module. Lots of details, but I feel like smartphone manufacturers have a long road to bring nice quality ultra-wide modules, because for now it's just a second thought, but this is very nice shot. Let's compare it with Sony. Here we can see that Vivo tries by using AI to predict and draw details. Of course, Sony has the raw power of its APS-C sensor. We have more details in the shadow. This is fake details, but who cares? Once again, Vivo on the left, Sony on the right. This is the maximum I could go with this Sigma lens on Sony. As you can see, Vivo does pretty good job drawing all these details with its artificial intelligence. And even beats conventional cameras in situations like this. And of course, you need a specialty zoom lens for Sony, otherwise this is maximum you can get. And on Vivo you have also telephoto 10x zoom if you need digital zoom. This is the convenience of having good smartphone. I feel like camera manufacturers such as Sony, Canon, Nikon, Panasonic, Fujifilm, they need to wake up and start implementing all this AI stuff, computational photography inside their cameras, because their cameras are getting obsolete year after year. You literally have to spend something like $2,000 or $3,000 to beat the smartphone with raw power, but you only will get cameras that can take photos. And this is smartphone. This is your personal computer inside your pocket. You can use it for many more things, such as entertainment. You can listen to music, watch YouTube, watch films. You can even make some videos, upload in YouTube just on the phone. You can play games. You can send emails. You can take bunch of photos and send them wirelessly to your computer, to your other devices. Cameras can do this. They have obsolete anarchic operating system, lack of features. You can just take photos and film some videos, maybe if you pay a lot of money, because if you want nice video, you need to pay a lot of money. Smartphones are personal computers in your pocket that can do this nice level of photos, take videos, play games, you can listen to music. Once again, I'm repeating myself. Let's look at some portraits. I like this phone for portraits. I really enjoy the results that I'm getting. Not only for the details, but for the color and depth, shadow and light, retouching of face, contrast levels. Yeah, perfect. Also you can play with some filters. It will change bokeh shape from Zeiss lenses. It will change texture of skin, rendition of light and contrast levels. I'm really impressed with this smartphone. Should I say with this camera that has smartphone attached to it. Some zoom test of this new telephoto module. Sony on the right. I tried my best to massage it in the Photoshop. Just look at this. This is combination of hardware sensor on the smartphone, Viva. I want to remind you this is Viva on the left. And also software, i.e. generating details from the raw sensor data. And we get this a lot more details. On the smartphone beats the hell out of this poor Sony, so poor Sony ZV-10 and poor expensive Sigma lens. Of course, I'm too harsh, this is probably because it is out of focus, but still, people don't care, people don't want to know all these details, they just want to see the results. Imagine what will be in 5, in 10 years from now. I really want conventional camera manufacturers to wake up before it's too late. And of course, you have convenience just to zoom in 10 times, and on the Sony I just didn't have zoom lens that day. I just want raw street photography atmosphere without any hassles, without ability and need to change lenses every couple of minutes. On the phone I can zoom in whatever I like and when I like. You don't just have an ability to see further away by zooming in. And by zooming I mean a lot. You can zoom in a lot from this ultra-wide shot to this. You can actually see small little details of the small leaves. But you can actually make nice macro shots. You won't believe what is this on the right. Look at this sunflower. I will show you what it is in the moment. This was shot from the same distance that I shot ultra-wide. You can move closer and closer to the object you're filming just by using zoom, digital zoom of this new telephoto module. This is pretty insane stuff. Do you realize how good this is? Because if you want to do something like this with conventional camera like Sony, you need specialty macro lens. Macro lenses are pretty expensive, and if you want good results, you need to buy a good one that has larger aperture entrance that is not dark, from $500 to $2,000. And this is every time with you. This is the future. Really. What bugs me a lot, this is Samsung camera module. Why didn't they use it in S24 Ultra? This is insane. I think that we won't see this even in S25 Ultra for some reason. Sony and Samsung just do not use their own tech in their smartphones and still charge you the premium luxury price. Here what Sony ZV-10 with Sigma 80-50 can do. By the way, it has close focus distance, but this is the best that you can get from this particular lens. And here how far you can go with Viva. You go from this small flower to this. Just look at that. Let's do some HDR torture test with the sun behind the subject. And this really impressed me. Look, this is perfect. We have nice contrast levels, we have nice details, we have all hairs on its place, we have skin texture. This is insane. Perfect. I love it. Let's try to see it against Sony camera. I am impressed. This is all Viva shots, just wanted to show you how good of a job it does when it comes to HDR and sun behind the subject. This is Viva, this is Sony. Right away, nice colors, nice contrast levels. This is so nice. This time I want to test direct sunlight, straight in the face. Sun was very harsh, it was hard even to look at the side of the sun. This is ultrawide lens on the Vivo, not bad for ultrawide, but of course we are testing also a dynamic range. Sony. I can't believe that we are comparing smartphone against proper real mirrorless camera with expensive lens. Sony lost in terms of details. And this is not just fake over-sharpening. Look, I can see each individual fibers here. And here I can't. No way. It's all can be due to larger depths of field, but people don't care about any this nerd stuff. And by the way, sorry if you're a camera lover, but this is nerd stuff, and people just don't care. They want a result. By the way, Vivo have some supermoon feature on the left without filter and on the right with. I don't know if they artificially place real picture on top, but when you press it, everything becomes dark except the moon. So maybe this is real details. By the way, do you know that we live inside the hollow earth and the moon is not what it seems? Alright, I will shut up and move further. We are moving to the evening to test Vivo in low light conditions, and also we'll test zoom capabilities. This part is over here. This is just a digital crop of this new 200 megapixel sensor. By the way, try to guess what this is. Here, this small part inside this jar, these macro capabilities are just out of this world. Just take a look at this. I just zoomed in, pressed a button from this distance, and that's all. And I got this shot. Indoors, in rough grocery store lighting conditions. This is beyond impressive. Some late evening sunsets, lots of details in the shadow area without any signs of noise. The system is always watching you. Here, from the back, I feel like it focused on this building, unfortunately. But we still have some details. Some ultra-wide shot at late evening. Lots of fake details. Not beyond impressive, but okay, this is possible. And I like colors. We can see separation between asphalt, between bricks, grass, red car, blue sky, and very orange sunset. Here I tried my best to make this look good on the Sony. Some super zoom. Of course, this does not look good, but don't forget that this was shot from this far away, in the late evening with a smartphone. If you don't go that far, the image can be even pleasing. We can see separation between colors, between flowers, we can see grass. Some evening portraits, Vivo, Sony. Unfortunately, we have some moving in the frame, because it was a lot darker than on these photos. I want you to pay attention not only for the level of details, but look at the contrast. Look at the colors, for example, this grass, this red t-shirt, lips, sky, just really good contrast levels, colors, shadow and light, the depths. I really wish modern real cameras have so-called "make me a masterpiece" button. Just look at this. Poor little Sigma lens. I really needed to take 1.4 expensive Sigma Prime for this comparison, because, you know, this phone is that good that it presses cheap mirrorless cameras against the wall. We'll know. This smartphone really pushes everything to the limit. Girls, if you want something that will make you instantly look fresh, just buy this phone. Of course, I will have lots of photographers, haters, who will watch this. They will say, but who cares? I'm a photographer myself. Who cares? I want smartphones to push these companies. Canon, Sony, Nikon, Panasonic, Fujifilm, you name it. Camera market is trash right now. I want them to change as soon as possible. This is ultra-wide. This is Sony on the right. Oh my god, poor little Sigma lens. Let's test the limit of the Sigma lens. It's a shame. Little bit of movement in this shot. You know why? You will tell me, oh, you just have unsteady hands. But really, if you want to have a good shots at evening, at night, you need to take a tripod with you. It was a lot darker than on these shots. I just made it look brighter in post. And you can go even further. And even further. Late evening zoom shot. Some architectural stuff. If we zoom in, we can even see everything inside people's houses. It even managed to get moon in the shot. Some more evening portraits. I see lots of grain because APS-C ZV-10 has obsolete sensor. But it is what it is. I don't know how, but Vivo made very nice white balance, and it was almost impossible to fix this yellow light in post. Poor little Sony. This is Vivo. As we can see, ISO is almost 3000, but we still have pretty clean image without any traces of noise. Some ultrawide from Vivo at very late evening, almost night already. Can say that there are lots of details, but we still have clean image, very nice color information, and very deep blue sky. Sony on the right, this is main sensor, 1 inch. This is the best what I could get by shooting handheld on the real mirrorless camera. You really need to bring a tripod with you. This is still crop. And of course on Vivo you can zoom in even further. My Sigma lens don't have this capability. More night mode shots. I really love how Vivo preserves details and most importantly color information when shooting in night mode. You can't do anything without a tripod with mirrorless cameras on the streets at night. More supermoon shots. I really love night mode in the smartphone. lots of color information, lots of details, deep blue sky. Ultra wide. Some more portraits. Sigma. Don't let me down, please. Testing HDR in this telephoto module. By the way, I saw almost 8500 and 1/14 of the second shutter speed. This was done handheld at night. More night mode shots. Let's test it against Sony. Sony have a lot more information inside buildings, but noise, too much noise. And on Vivo you can go even further, and now we get a lot more details inside the windows. I really tried to do something on the Sony with these atrocious streetlights, but I just could not fix it in Photoshop in post. Sony? This was very rough light. I love these deep blue skies at night. Vivo has special feature to make this night sky look this blue. You can turn it off if you wish. Sony on the right. No way. This is the power of computational photography. Deal with it, companies. Of course, I can get better shot with mirrorless camera. I just need a tripod, more expensive lens. I'm talking about $2,000 more expensive. I need to spend a lot time in post. By the way, what is this noise levels? Sony. Look, we can see texture on this. And of course on Vivo you can go even closer because it has more zoom capabilities. And I want you to pay close attention to the ISO levels, 10,000 and 1/13 of the second shutter speed. This is handheld at deep late night. This is some ultrawide shot at night. Vivo on the left, Sony in the middle, and Samsung Galaxy S24 Ultra, phone of the future, on the right. Neither of these looks good. Smartphone manufacturers need to introduce new ultrawide models. Vivo is on the left, Sony in the middle, and this is Samsung S24 Ultra. As you can see, Samsung do not have details, colors are meh, contrast, everything looks washed out. Here we have some details on the code. Samsung, of course, have none. Painful to watch. I had lots of hopes for Samsung, but it disappointed me a lot. Vivo, Sony, Samsung. Samsung does this a lot at night shots. You can easily get this level of night shots with Vivo. Vivo, Sony in the middle, and oh my god, Samsung S24 Ultra on the right. This is the best photo from that night from Samsung. how it is possible that they marketing this phone as phone of the future. And also they spent lots of time in their presentation talking about night photography. They called it nightography. This is beyond pathetic level of nightography, and this is Vivo X100 Ultra. This is real nightography. Once again, Vivo, Sony and Samsung. If you don't know, I initially bought Samsung S24 Ultra after watching their live event Galaxy Unpacked, where they told that this will be phone of the future with great photo and video capabilities, with nightography, with good night mode where you can film people at night on stage and so on. I already sold it. I lost $400 in transaction after reselling it in brand new conditions. It was painful. If you want, just watch my previous videos about Samsung, where I'm talking about this in details. I even compared Samsung to $30 budget used phone. And spoilers, it even lost in some categories. This is insane. I was hoping to see this from Samsung, not this embarrassment. Pathetic. This is Vivo Look. ISO level is 3000 and 1/14 of the second shutter speed at night, and we still get this clean and very sharp image. Samsung, go home. Vivo, Samsung, Sony in the middle, again just Look. ISO level is more than 11,000 and it is 1/20th of the second shutter speed. Look at these results. I really love results from Vivo. Lots of colors, contrast levels. You just press a button and get masterpiece almost every time. No matter where are you taking photos, outdoors, indoors. Result will be very, very good. Again, almost 10,000 ISO, handheld, night, atrocious city light. ISO almost 7,000, 1/14th shutter speed, night, atrocious city light. Some AI features. As we spoke previously, it can transform your photos for any weather conditions, has audio summarization, it can trace and remove objects from the image, but it happens on BBK Online cloud servers. I hate cloud. Cloud is just another man's computer. I trust only my own RAID server inside my own closet. I wish we have all this offline on our devices by using locally trained AI machine learning models. What happens in 10 years or more when support ends or BBK decides to close it? Our society is trained to buy new phones each couple of years. I stand for right to own and repair and fully offline functional and working features. Video capabilities. Basic 4K 60 camera quality. Looks alright? Hard to tell. We need to compare it against something else. I was pleased to know that Vivo X100 Ultra supports side apps for most of the features, all camera modules, optical stability, 10-bit with log even at 4K 120 frames per second and 1080p 240 frames per second. Nice. Let's quickly test some selfie video. Night video tests. And selfie video camera at night. Let's test stabilization quickly. Also want to mention, look how stable the image in photo and video mode. Here I use 100x zoom and image on the screen is just rock stable. It does not even move. Look how far I stand from the subject. This stabilization is godlike. Look how can I film in macro mode. How close I can be to the subject. I can literally zoom 100x times to this flower and see microscopic details of fibers. This is insane. Usually you need to take expensive macro lens to do this with conventional camera and need a tripod, because image won't ever be as stable. Sometimes you also need a light or flash with you, because such lenses are not only expensive, but also have small dark apertures. This phone is rare beast. It supports 4K 120 frames per second with HDR and stabilization, even inside apps, as well as 10-bit with lock, even in 1080p 240 frames per second. But I wish companies focus on this aspect more. Many years ago we got Huawei phones that gave us 2000, 4000 and 9000 frames per second in small bursts. What went wrong? Companies, give us this. Also give us pre-buffer slow motion. If we press record button, couple of seconds before we pressed, will be filmed as slow motion. This way you can't lose important moments. For example, whale or dolphin jumping out of the water, or your kid kicking the soccer ball in the exact right moment, or your clumsy friend falling on the banana peel. Just give us that. 4K 120 frames per second is not impressive in 2024, but I still pleased to see at least this, because some companies give us 4K 60 frames per second year after year and call it a day. Pathetic. Conclusions? What I want to tell in the end. Can I recommend this phone? Heck yes. Of course I will. This is one of the best phones on the market, if not the best. And I declare this device as camera phone king of all times. Period. Till the day when someone will try to take his crown. Something like iPhone 15 Pro or Galaxy S24 Ultra are just no match for it. We can compare this phone only with mirrorless cameras, like Sony ZV-E10 or A6700 with nice set of lenses, or Nikon Z30 and so on. Nice build quality, good hardware, full of features software, very bright and colorful screen, good battery and charging speeds. I recommend this phone. Stay tuned for a comparison video against portrait king of smartphones, Oppo Find X7 Ultra, and real mirrorless camera Sony ZV-E10 with expensive Sigma lenses. See you over there. Have a very out of this world day, my friend.